And we are live with VTL Clan War against Cranky Ducklings, and my name is Terran Lord, and I'm joined by the lovely and wonderful Cannon Rusher, Xenodactyl.
Hello, hello.
How are you tonight? Well, today, I don't... It's a weird time. Because, it's now for
Afternoon
me...
for me.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. I'm doing well. I played this Zerg twice and cannon rushed him both times. So
Sounds good.
looks like we're just waiting on um, the other clan's streamer to get finished setting up, and we'll be ready to start this game on Catalyst.
And I luckily got in here in time to cast. It was like last minute at the power
Oh
came on.
yeah. Oh yeah. That was such a like less than 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah, and like the funniest thing about it was that I was watching the soccer on like a laptop with like a Wi-Fi dongle, and like as the laptop died, the power came on. I was like, this is some weird timing. I was like, okay.
That is very curious. Okay.
It was like, it's not like a minute, it's like literally like on the second. Well, this was intended, I guess.
Yeah. Destined to cast this.
I am definitely very excited for this because obviously I'm always excited to cast, but when it's PsiX against the Ducklings, who are, I wouldn't say like basically my second clan, if you could say it like that. So
Sure.
definitely really good friends with a lot of them.
The ducklings, risen. We have some clans out there that we're on really good terms with. I'd say.
Yeah, that's for sure. I need to make sure that I do these overlays right because I do not necessarily remember everything. Okay, there's that. And then I think one more thing. And it's best of 7. Okay, let's change the scene. And we should be good to go for intros. I hope. Spawning in the top left, in the blue, representing Psionic Aftermath, he is Warbuff. Oh, wait for me.
And in the bottom right, representing the ducklings, as the teal Zerg, it is Kiro.
Going for a pull first with a drone scout. And I'm not surprised at the drone scout. I know she loves to do this. And one thing I am expecting is a gas steal, because that's something she does very often.
It sounds like a little bit like Sunlily in that regard.
Yeah. Light VIP, who I'm not sure is going to play today, also does that. And I know Kuro did learn that from him. I have been gas stolen by Light once before. Even though I knew it was coming, it was painful. Yep, there's the gas steal.
Same old tricks, still working.
Yeah. I mean, knowing Warbuff, this might throw him off. I know sometimes he does get like a little tilted at some things, but hopefully he'll be able to recover from this and not really take like too much from it.
Yeah, I definitely know that. He's a very solid player, but if you can get inside his head a little bit, sometimes it goes to your advantage.
That's for sure. There's sometimes it does work for him, but it's very rare. And he's going to send another probe out, and he's going to see these links coming across, so he can probably prepare himself with a wall off. And he does have the zealot on the way, so he should be just fine with that.
Yeah, this probe seeing these lings, as you said, it's actually pulling back the lings from hitting as early as they could, so that wall will be up in plenty of time.
Yeah, even with a couple shield batteries as well.
I kind of like this third, just kind of realizing, okay, not going to get a whole lot done. No need to like go for a Ling Bane bust or something.
Yeah, definitely the wiser choice. And I think Warbuff has definitely practiced a lot against like Xerxes recently because of his JSL. So he's used to that by now, I think. You're going to see Stargate from Warbuff, which, I mean, I don't know about you, I'm not very surprised about, because in almost every game it's like Stargate, and it's almost like, oh yeah, he's also going to go into carriers later if he gets the chance.
Oh yeah, I mean, typical Warbuff. It's, by his standards, perhaps late due to the gas steal, but it's not terribly so. Overlord is going to come in and verify that Stargate is in fact there, and I really would say verify instead of scout, considering it is a PVZ and it is Warbuff.
Yeah, and also like I think even any normal Protoss, you're looking for a Stargate. I think it's probably the best, just because of how safe you can be with it, and like, you can also get those stasis wards, revelation, kill a few drones here and there. So definitely the better option, in my opinion.
Adept comes in, scouts that there are 6 Lings still and nothing else, so shades right back out.
Yeah, I think that's always something you want to keep alive, just because it's a bit of scouting information, a bit of harass as well. But one thing Akira is going for is the Overlord speed, and that's definitely something I am a fan of. You can make sure what the Protoss player is doing, especially considering like this early on. Unless there's a Void Ray out, there's not really like the high DPS anti-air for the Protoss.
Warbuff is going to queue up his third at a... It's like normal, but it's early because it's normal.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying. It's like weird, like early, but early. I know. I'm confusing myself. Yeah. That's the one thing, like sometimes in cars when like I'm saying something I don't actually think about what I'm saying, and it's just I start confusing myself, and it's like, actually let me stop here and not confuse myself more.
Alright, this Phoenix is gonna come out and get this Overlord. At least this one, if not the other.
Yeah, Oracle just survives, getting a couple drones. Definitely important that that survives. Still can keep that for harass and scouting. But one thing I think Warbuff isn't using to his advantage is the Chrono Boost. He's got a lot of energy on his next side.
Oh wow, the natural being fully
And like even at that point,
powered.
you just like corner the gateways as well. You might as well use that energy.
Who cares if you're producing out of it?
Just corner it. Why not?
Alright, we are going to get that Roach move out, and it wants to hit the third. I don't see a whole lot for Warbuff yet, but there is an Immortal, so conceivably, if it's in position and there's a Stasis Ward going down... Okay, so Warbuff should be okay.
Yeah. And there's a couple of depths across the map. Are going to get quite a few drones.
Actually,
Ooh.
moves right past the Stasis Ward.
Yeah.
A little bit unfortunate for Warbuff. Slight mispositioning there.
But Warbuff does have, like, he can lose a few probes. He is quite far ahead in that, but he cannot really lose that base, because that definitely will be bad for him. But
Actually, now it's gonna back up into the Stasis.
Oh, that's rough for Kuro. Like that's a really huge stasis for Warbuff. I think he just holds on pretty easily now, and by the time more roaches come across, you probably have 3 or 4 more immortals. He'll have Archons by then. I can imagine he's going to start Storm pretty soon.
Yeah, this force is lost to charge lots and an immortal.
Yeah. And
Nice surround, easy cleanup.
And behind the Kuro is droning up, so she's not really committing too much to it. but at the same time, she definitely wanted to get a lot more damage than she did get.
Yeah. So, good deflection.
And he is starting to clean up these overlords all around. There is a couple still that are scouting the path towards Kura's base. But at the same time, she also got creep straight going, so she'll be able to see attacks coming if Warbuff decides to do that. I mean, it's a surprise if Warbuff does go for a big move out, because he's normally a very passive pro, does like to get up to the Stargates and get those carriers out.
Yeah, actually, with his Gateway Explosion now going down, Storm almost done, and a superior probe count to the Zerg, I think Warbuff is in a dominating position.
Yeah, and like his army supply is lower than the Zerg's, but at the same time, a lot of that army is in Roach Ravager, which doesn't really tell the story to us. Like you see like 3 Immortals, and that does a hell of a lot more damage than even I think 15 Roaches or something. Like it is pretty crazy.
And he can always warp in a good number of charge lots to supplement and engage.
Yeah, and Archons as well, which, I mean, they takes them a while to get on top of Roaches, but they definitely can do a lot of damage with their splash.
Phoenix still getting more Overlords, and 4th going down for Warbuff, so...
Yeah, definitely looking good for him so far. He's starting to also cannon and shield batteries 3rd, so he'll be any run bys or attacks. He does have quite a few ways to defend that.
So far this has really just been Warbuff playing his game not too disturbed. Maybe a gas steal here, a little bit of Roach harass there, but nothing too concerning, I think.
Yeah, and he got a big revelation off on the Zerg army, so he sees exactly what the composition is and sees where the units are, so he doesn't have to worry too much.
It's nice to see the Hydra count with that.
Yeah, because like, he knows exactly that it's not just the Roach Ravager. And I think these charge lots should be able to get the cancel on this base. Yeah, they definitely will. And it's actually going to be a kill. The links do get cleaned up, which I think is not too big a problem for Kuro. She doesn't need those, especially considering they don't have speed.
Donating a couple Roaches.
Yeah.
A little bit of bait to get the link or charge lots.
I think if Kuro goes for an attack, this is definitely very risky. There's a lot of Immortals, Storm, Charge Lots, and Archons. Ooh, the Oracle?
No?
Maybe?
No?
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, and this is quite a choked up point with those Storms and Archons. Ooh, yeah, it just sits in those Storms. So much of that Zerg army takes a lot of damage, and they're just a few shots away from going down. Another Storm gets so much. I mean, he doesn't have too many charges with his army, so doesn't have much buffer, but at the same time, there's not that much that can really challenge those Immortals in the back.
Lifting the one rabbit. Hey, every unit!
Every unit counts. Let me get rid of them. Like, okay, that works. Yeah, but one thing Warbuff doesn't have is a War Prison with this, so he does definitely need to be careful of overextending too much.
The moral count is just so high, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think against just pure Roach, Hydra, sorry, the Immortals should be able to win the fight, maybe, I'm not sure. He is losing a couple Immortals, but at the same time he's clearing up a majority of the Zerg army. He hasn't really walked in, though. Yeah, like he doesn't really have a lot of charge lots behind it.
Yeah, he can't reinforce this, so okay, he's just gonna recon now as the Lings are gonna come in.
And then those 2 Immortals just waddle in by themselves.
Oh, oh well.
Yeah.
Donations.
Accepting donations. Yeah, it definitely was, I think, a better trade for Warbuff. Losing those 2 Immortals was definitely annoying, but at the same time, he does have those additional Stargates, so he can tech into those carriers, whereas Kuro, she's mostly just sitting on a handful of Hydras. Hive is only on the way now. No Spies, so she doesn't have like a proper answer to deal with the carriers or even Tempest. You're going to see another charge lot run by the 4th base. Should be able to get those few drones out of there, which is limits, Kuro's drone count, which isn't even really that strong. Gonna go after the base. Might be able to get this, there's just a handful of lings. Hydras do pop out, so if those drones would be able to clear up, the base is going to go down. And again, Warbuff is going up to 5 bases, whereas Kuro is just stuck on the 3. She's not really mining that effectively even on the 3rd. And yeah, she's heavily oversaturated in her natural though. 22 drones when it's just 10 that you can really afford there.
Yeah, it looks like the drones from the 3rd were evacuated to the natural, and then after the threat was dealt with, they were never moved back.
Yeah. This cannon wall though by the 4th base, that's stuff of nightmares. It would take so long to get to, like, even with the shield batteries as well. It's the extra little bit that it's going to take. And another charge that run by should be able to get a couple queens, maybe a few spawns. I think he's just going to go straight for the drone line, maybe even tech. See if he can pick off maybe that hive, maybe the spy as well. Because if he does that, I think he puts himself in a really strong position.
Getting the Spire is actually pretty huge, considering that he wants to go into Sky Toss.
Yeah. I think, he should be able to get Banelings. What just goes down.
That was very close.
Yeah, and there's still no link speed for these lings though, and that's, I think if they had speed, they definitely would be able to get there in time. Behind it, so many storms available, carriers already on the way. I mean, the first few corruptors did start, so Kuro is able to get a few out, but it's definitely not enough to deal with, the carrier count that is starting to grow.
This is not enough corruptors.
Yeah. And I just realized Warbuff is sitting on 89 probes. He probably doesn't need that many. Can maybe sacrifice a few at this point to get a bigger army, because he is oversaturated in a couple of his bases. And I think once it reaches this point, you probably need only like 70 workers, maybe even less when you have quite a bit of a bank almost maxed out and getting that Skatos army.
I'd say Warbuff is definitely in his element this game.
Yeah, he's playing exactly how he wants to play. There's no doubt in that. And it's looking like he is sending a few probes across the map to sacrifice them. So he definitely is getting that done. If they get a few drones for their troubles, I will definitely be very impressed with these probes.
I think the spine crawler is going to mess with there.
Yeah.
Actually, they're just targeted on that.
There's like, hatchery, go, 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 go. It's like he's so set on keeping the circ down to 3 bases. It's like, probes aren't going to do that much. But then again, they do quite a lot of damage. That if an attack does come down there, the hatchery is relatively low, all things considered.
I would have actually liked if his army was attacking somewhere else while he was sending the probes. So the probes go in first, and after they zap, then the army shows up on the creep.
Yeah. I think Warbuff has played quite passively, has allowed Kuro to get up to a much bigger army. It's still not really that many corruptors, but she is adding on more as well as the Greater Spy, which I also know that she likes her Brood Lords, especially in the team games. I see them a lot. So,
okay.
Yeah. So I think both players, I don't know if Kuro necessarily likes the late game, but definitely favors it more than earlier stages.
Corruptors are going to swing around. Maybe they want to go pee on something.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few bases. At the same time, a lot of cannons. Going to move towards the 5th base. Warbuff is out of position at the moment, so might be able to cut through a few of these cannons, but I think this many cannon shield batteries should delay long enough for the Protoss army to get there. Even the mothership comes as well.
Kuro is just going to turn around and get caught in this choke a little bit.
Yeah, and with so many storms, these Hydras could go down very quickly. I mean, both players are losing quite a bit. I think Warbuff lost charge lots that were returning, but at the same time, he's got that mothership up. He's got a lot of carriers. There's not that much anti-air really left for Kuro, just a handful of Hydras and Corruptors.
Another set of storms goes down, clears the entire army, and Kiro will tap out.
Yeah, that was definitely just Warbuff in his element, waiting for his time to attack. It's going to be Catatonic next for CrnKy Ducklings, and she's Protoss player, I think almost Plat 1. Definitely has got a lot of coaching very recently, so I wouldn't be surprised if she gets Diamond even quite soon.
Okay. Wait, you said it's a cheese Protoss?
Yes. No, she is Protoss.
And we're playing on Lost and Found.
I said she is a Protoss. I didn't say she's, yeah.
She is a Protoss.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry.
You scared me for a moment.
Yeah. I think she has Cannon Rush before.
Okay.
I'm not too sure how confident she is though. I don't think she likes it too much.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like your eyes just like lit up for a second.
There was a moment of like wonder and dread at the same time. Alrighty, we'll be getting underway.
Lost and Found, definitely another standard map. I think War's most confident in his PvP. I think he said something a while ago. I mean, was last VTL where he beat the Diamond 2 in that long macro game. But I think this is definitely a much different map. A lot harder to take up to those carriers compared to 16-bit where you get basically 4 or 5 bases for free. Sorry, I'm just doing this overlay first. Oh my, why am I this bad? You'd think I would learn eventually. But whatever. At least get into introductions and spawning in the top right. In the blue, taking game number 1. He is Warbuff.
And in the bottom left, trailing as the pink Protoss, It is catatonic.
I think we've got some excited people in chat rooting for PsiX. I could be wrong though. I might be misreading it.
Faulty isn't even playing today.
Yeah.
He's too good for BTL.
And he's not even by his PC. He's currently on a plane on his way back from Korea. So it's like even if he was Diamond, it's like he couldn't play.
There's Wi-Fi on
That's true.
on planes these days.
That's true, but I feel like Volt's the type of person who's like, if he doesn't have his perfect setup, he can't play. It's just like, nope, not doing this. You have to find someone else. It's like
I wouldn't blame him.
Yeah, it's like a little bit off. It's like, no, this is not what I want. Unless it's fixed, I'm not playing.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Neither of these players have decided to wall.
Yeah, that is interesting. Especially
Like, I
considering...
know Warbuff doesn't
yeah.
wall because he doesn't care about his building placement, but...
Yeah. And like, especially considering they're both going Stalkers is interesting, but at the same time, Kata is going for a proxy of some kind. I think it's going to be a 4-gate. I think you're just
right.
a guess.
No Chronos on the Cyber just yet, but based on the position.
Stargate.
Oh, okay. That's a curious position for a proxy Stargate, but hey, it works.
Yeah. And then the Stalkers just walk past the probe and it's like, okay, bye.
I'm not going to ask any questions about where you came from.
Yeah. At the same time, Warbuff is also getting his own Stargate, as well as the Nexus. So like
You must have just been lost.
Yeah, like all in all, not too bad for Warbuff, I don't think. Like the Oracle that's going to come out could do some damage, but I think it shouldn't do too much. And I was going to say there's a shield battery in the mineral line. I said, nope, it's not in the mineral line. It's away from that, so that's not going to help out too much.
Oracle has not yet started for Kata, so
Yeah, and
Warbuff still has time.
Yeah, and the Stalkers do trade across the map. I think Warbuff is going to lose this one. He does need to be really careful. He does lose it. So in the end, Kata does get the better trades. But at the same time, her Oracle started after Warbuff's, even though it was proxied and a little bit earlier. But it's it should...
Is this patrol probe blocking the... I think it is.
Yeah, I think it is.
Or was.
Yeah. No, it's dead.
Irrelevant.
Yeah. We're going to see 2 Stalkers coming up from Warbuff, as well as the Phoenix, so you should have enough to defend against this Oracle, although these Stalkers aren't in position yet. Yeah. Could get a couple
probes. Actually, the fact that she's waiting for the second Oracle means the Phoenix will be out in time. So if his Stalkers are in one of the mineral lines, he won't actually suffer too many losses.
Yeah, and Warbuff's Oracle's going to go in, and there's actually nothing. Wait, never mind, there's just a couple Stalkers and a shield battery, so it shouldn't be too much. But definitely with the earlier Nexus, he's got quite a lot of damage done. 2 Oracles are going to come in. Should be able to get a couple probes. Warbuff is going to pull away. Other Oracle does go in. Phoenixes haven't reacted, so in the end he's taking quite a lot of worker damage.
Yeah.
And he's losing even more. This is really rough.
A little bit of slow reaction on the probe pulls, and just not really the timing War was expecting, I think.
Yeah. I think when he saw the one Oracle, he wasn't really expecting that second one. Like, he's not down like too many probes. Obviously losing those is rough. And now with the Nexus finishing up for Kata, she should be able to keep up in that probe production as long as she continues to make those probes. But back at home, she does have double robo, so has that tech out a lot quicker than Warbuff does.
Yeah, the worker count is relatively even in spite of all that chaos.
Yeah. And I think Warbuff is looking for the proxy with his Oracle, so he's going to find and be able to shut that down. So, all in all, I think it's definitely looking better for Kata just because she has the Robos, whereas, War only has a couple
the
Phoenix.
double robo and the slight worker lead is definitely good for this matchup.
Yeah. And like, normally if you're going to go Phoenixes, you commit a lot heavier to this, I think, than just the 3. So the fact that he hasn't thrown down a Robo yet means that he's not going to be able to get a good Immortal count out before Kata does have hers. That one Stalker is just like, die, Pylon, die, and it's just taking forever. Phoenix
But the Stargate can just stay there.
Yeah. It's like, nah, you're okay, Stargate, I don't mind you. It looks like Warbuff is just going to go for a massive amount of gateways. He does have the Twilight Council with it. So like normally you'd see the Twilight Council earlier if it's going to be charge attack. Maybe it's going to be Blink Stalkers eventually. I'm not too sure. Like I'm not the PvP expert, so I can't say.
Yeah, this is actually really strange. Like, this gateway explosion definitely implies that he should have gotten that TC earlier. I think he feels behind from how many probes he lost, but in actuality, he's not that far behind.
Yeah.
He's just kind of... Oh, this Stargate is not actually blocking the...
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, and the fact that he's getting a third base as well is very interesting with the amounts of gateways to make. I think he's going up to 9 or 8. Let me. What's it? 6 warp gates, 2 gateways, and 2 in production. So that's 10. That's actually a lot of gateways. We're going to see Kata is going to move out the map with a couple Immortal Stalkers, as well as that War Prism. So that War Prism definitely can help out a lot. But at the same time, if those Phoenixes find it, then Kata's attack definitely is a lot weaker. It's actually going to be Rage of those Phoenixes. And you're going to dive right on top of it, should be able to prevent that warp in. And now, with additional warp, and with the amount of gateways he has, he should be able to warp in more than enough units. He has a lot of sentries low. That's a lot of energy.
Good force fields, good lifts.
Yeah, even the Oracle's going to come in. Just going to stand idle for now. But yeah, it's going to force out the recall. Definitely very good trades there for Warbuff. He didn't lose too many of his sentries, so he didn't lose like really in gas units, especially now with his third base a lot earlier. It is looking better, but at the same time he doesn't have +1 for his units, so his units aren't going to hit it. And this probe is going after the Stargate, and if this probe kills the Stargate, I don't even know what to think.
Well, it probably will.
Yeah.
Oh look, donation. Immortal, donation.
Oh no! Well, it's gonna get a few probes, I think, or just a shield battery.
I need to get some water, I'll be right back.
Yeah, the probe actually ended up killing the Stargate. Just would like to mention that. We're gonna see a gauge across the map. Kata is finding away from his shield battery, so she's not really getting used to the energy. A lot of pickups anymore. Recall is gonna come from Warbuff. Definitely a very good choice. But it's a bit of a weird attack, and now he's finding himself quite far down Army Supply. He's going to get a Robo now, but still no forge. He's going to be heavily down those upgrades, with Kata getting the +2 on the way. His War hasn't even got a forge yet. He does have the third base, which is helping him. So he should be able to make more units eventually, which might negate the upgrade. But when there's +2 Immortals versus no upgraded units, that's going to look pretty rough. The Phoenixes are going to go across the map. Probably look for a few more probes, see what it can get done. Maybe just get a bit of scouting. War Prism is out again once for Kata, so she's probably looking to go across the map once that +2 finishes. So, and there's the fleet beacon. Oh, that's not good.
Just couldn't get rid of it.
Yeah, I know that feeling. It's the worst. But yeah, there's Warbuff's patented fleet beacon. But this...
Yes.
I think he might die before that goes up, because he's quite far down in the army. He's quite, yeah, and he realizes he needs all his resources to go into units. So like, he needs to make sure that this stays alive. He's even getting an Oracle. I think he just wants to make sure he has any kind of unit out. But being down this heavily in upgrades, being down in army supply with that many immortals, this is looking really bad for him. And I don't want him to see him engage far away from his bases. He cannot afford to take engages away from where he wants them to. Because he only
I
has
think
that
he feels like he needs the warp prism to shut, or needs the Phoenix to shut down the warp prism. But
yeah, like if he shuts that down, then there's maybe a chance. And if he catches a few units with that stasis ward, like we saw in the last game with how important that was, it can help a lot. Oh, catches a few charge loss, not enough, I think, at this point.
I don't think that's what he was looking for.
Yeah. I mean, if he fights by his third base, is a lot better. There's a lot more shield batteries there. He can get good force fields, which will help him. But at the same time, like his charge lots are fighting against charge lots, which do a lot more damage. And because they charge lots, they don't do any less damage than if they weren't even in Guardian Shield. Still more force fields do come down, but I think Warbuff, he's warping in more sentries. He just wants these forever force fields, but they're not coming. I think with the overwhelming amount of charge lots, Cat is going to take the game.
There are too many immortals.
Yeah, that too. It's like, how many? That's I think 6 immortals if I'm not looking at a Stalker as well, because their skin's very similar. There's the GG. Yeah, that was. There was a time I think that was looking good for Warbuff, and then he just took so much probe damage.
Yeah. Bit unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it happens.
Good play coming out of Kata.
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely played very well that game. Very solid.
There weren't cannons on Lost and Found. I started coughing.
Didn't see the cannons. Nah, I can't have this.
Okay, let me go find good target.
Okay. Good target, Zerg, right?
Yes, she was around. She, like, at the start of this, so
Yeah.
I imagine she's somewhere nearby. Probably watching the stream and still has the delay.
Yeah, that happens. I know I've done that before. And sometimes, like, I get that message in game, like, leave me alone. I want to see the end, even though, like, I know what's gonna happen. It's like, just leave me.
So that's what happens when I'm looking for you.
Yeah. No, like for the last ATL match I played it. I mean, obviously I knew I was gonna play, so I didn't know the result. So it's just like, I want to see John win. Just give me a chance. Or like he kept like messaging, like just leave me. I want to see the end. No, but one of my favorite things was the one the Sea Duckling open the one. I just messaged Volt and I was like, I actually did it. And he sends me a message like, shush, I'm watching past Lord play. I was like, okay, sorry. Uh, the funniest thing about it is like this isn't the first time that we've had an argument about the side deck thing. So it's just it keeps coming up.
So much potential.
It's just like I remember one of the first clan wars we had. I was like I was the one who came up with the name Sonic Ducks because I didn't actually realize that your side duck was a possible thing, and I was like when I was told, I was like, why didn't Light change it? He should have changed it. It's like now he's doing it to spite us. I see how it is.
Didn't I invite her already? Oh my goodness. I don't know what's going on anymore.
What even is life?
What is life? I thought I sent her the invite. What's this not going?
I don't know what's happening.
Invite to game. It won't even cue her.
Let me try. Let's see. Nope.
Okay.
Nope. That doesn't even work. Oh, there we go. That's a good target.
Okay. Excellent.
I was like, okay, I don't even know what's happening here. One thing I've got to say is this casting tool that I'm using now is it's so nice. It's like every time I look at it, I'm just like, this thing is beautiful. How does it even work like this? It's like, and what the craziest thing is, when you think, okay, you have to change the scores, right? Nope, this thing just updates automatically. It registers which player wins. And I'm just like, how does it do that? Yeah.
Huh.
It just immediately updates. Like,
Fascinating.
is this thing in my brain or something?
It's telepathic.
Indeed. Wait, no, that's sound. I still will never get this right. At least I'm remembering to change the scene. That's something. Anyway, spawning in the bottom right, in the pink, representing CrnKy. She is catatonic.
And in the top right, as the purple Zerg representing PsiX, it is Good Target. Alrighty, the special map.
Yeah, I will admit, I don't have much experience with this map. It was
I
like,
have won 2 games on this map. This is the only 2 games I have ever bothered to play.
I've played a couple on like NA and on my Alt account, but it's just like, as soon as the season started, it's like, yep, that's getting vetoed. It's like that Redshift and Dreamcatcher is like, I didn't even play a game on ladder, and then those 2 maps were already vetoed.
Yeah, no, I played those 2 games because I wanted to know if there was some way to cannon rush it. And I cannon rushed it, but like upon watching the reviews, I was like, that was terribly risky. I'm not gonna try that again.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think
This is a little bit unfortunate. Good Target is being forced to expand towards her opponent due to the pylon block. So,
I mean, it could help her in the end, because maybe she wants to go for anything like a Ling Bane attack or just straight up Lings, which helps to have that closer expansion, but it will be interesting to see what she goes
yeah. This wall is not yet complete due to the stupidity of this map.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even say that Catatonic misplaced anything. Everything makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just the map.
I was like, when I saw this map, I'm like, I am never playing Protoss on this map, because normally I cannot wall off, and trying on a map where walling off is even difficult for some people. Like, no. But these Lings will
that
get
said,
in.
2 Lings are going to get in.
And this drone as well.
The hero drone!
No, don't die. Droney, don't die. We need you. It's gonna mine some minerals. It's mining minerals. Well, trying to at least.
Is it actually going to get home? No, it can't. There are zealots.
Yeah, there's 3 sets. That's more than enough. Like, no.
Okay.
But Good Target is going for the Baning Nest and a lot of links. So yeah, this
Definitely playing to the map, and there's a drone in position to take the natural as the third, but has not yet done so.
Yeah, she does have the minerals to take that.
Oh.
Yeah, this is, and then there's 2 this Link's probably gonna morph into Banes on the other side. And if Kata doesn't realize that, then those Banes could get a lot of damage. But it looks like a couple zealots are going in that direction. So she'll be able to
I
get
think
too
Kata
much.
is suspicious. It's like, why do I feel like that was too easy?
Yeah.
There should be more.
I mean, yeah, the Banes do get one of the zealots and damage another one, so it's not too bad. But you've got a lot more Banelings coming in. Not really that many Lings. Shield batteries are coming down, but I think with this many Banes, should be able to bust right through. Oh.
Yeah, everything's unpowered. Only one zealot left. Doesn't even have charge. What am I talking about?
Yeah, and then this is one gateway, but I mean, there's not even warp gate finish up. And these probes in the main base. This is yeah, GG. Good Target. We'll take the game, putting PsiX up 2-1. So in the end, that hatchery being forced there kind of helped her.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, my units are closer to you. Okay.
It's gonna be Yaku. This I was not expecting. Not gonna lie, I was definitely expecting Phoenix to come out, but I think just because our power has been out and he hasn't really got too much practice in today, so he's probably rather just say let Yaku go in because he has been practicing. That is what I would think.
I see. So does your brother live nearby you, or?
He's in the same house as me.
I see.
Yeah, like his room is a few steps away from mine.
Nice.
We used to live in the same room. Used to, a while ago. And then we got tired of each other. Like, no, we can't stay in the same room anymore.
Okay, Dreamcatcher. What race is Yaku
Terran.
Terran?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess this makes sense then.
Yeah. I'll say this, that he has on occasion felt the brunt of me shouting at him for things that he doesn't do right. And like he's like one of the only players that do that too in the crank team. There's also Milk, who might be coming later, because he's also Terran. He's Diamond 1. So yeah, definitely does happen a couple of times. I'm not the worst at shouting at him though. It's mostly Volt, not me. I'm more of the nicer, the good cop. Let's say that, but not
The
really,
good cop.
but not really that good.
Quotes, good. Comparatively good.
Yeah. I won't necessarily swear.
Alright, looks like everyone's ready to get started, so. Well, okay, that's curious. So, I wonder what sort of things you're hounding him for.
Mostly macro. Mostly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Volt is also hounding him for macro?
Yes, but also for decision making, because sometimes his decision making is a little weird.
Okay.
He has the propensity to do weird things, and one of those things is Gangnam Terran, which basically is lifting your CC at the beginning of the game and landing it on a gold base. And like, I don't necessarily think he's going to do it this game, because the gold base is yeah, like Eastwatch was probably the first map he ever did it on, and it just was born from there.
I see. I would think maybe Redshift is still doable, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I think in that occasion, you probably rather just lift your CC to the complete other side, other gold base, and then just Planetary Fortress rush that or something. Yeah, I haven't tried that, I will admit. I probably would try that sometime soon, where I just like, let's just go for this, lift the CC, Planetary Fortress rush the gold, and be done. That is if I play the map. Anyway, yeah, that was a mistake. Spawning in the bottom left, in the purple, representing Psionic Aftermath. She is good target.
Scared me for a second there.
Same.
I was like, wait, are you drone rushing?
No, don't do it. This is not how it's supposed to end.
Well, in the top left, as the green Terran, representing the ducklings, it is Yakuzaku.
Yeah, that was definitely
Must have been a double click.
Yeah,
I think.
I've done that many times. I'll say so. It's definitely not something that just you can say. Oh, it's down to, yeah, very unusual circumstance. Like this happens a lot.
Oh man. Here we are talking about floating your gold over to your CC over to the gold,
It's like drone rush.
and suddenly there are drones moving all at once.
For some reason at the moment, I thought it was Terran, so I was like, no, Yaku, don't do it, please.
It's too far. No.
But I think we are going to see the Reaper come across the map, but drone was denied the scout, so that is nice for Yaku, but at the same time, the Overlords do, I think, spot that there's a CC. Yeah, actually do not. But I think when you see the Reaper at this time, it's you can almost assume that it is going to be that Reaper fast expand.
Yeah. Everything's normal. Okay.
Except for that Baneling nest, though. That's not normal. And,
That is very fast.
Yeah, and based on Yaku's build, the fact that he's going 2-1-1, I am a little worried for him because, like, Hellions are the best option against this, and Unster Marines, even just against straight up Lings, don't do too well. I mean, he's going to make a bunker, so that's at least something. But at the same time, these Lings coming across may be actually able to deny, because there's no Marines out. I think the Reaper went down. Yeah, the Reaper did go down. And that Marine's actually going to get surrounded. SCVs are pulled, so that is definitely good for Yaku, but at the same time he's going to lose a couple workers for free already. Bunker goes down, but it's very difficult for Yaku to get this bunker, and it's probably going to go down, yeah.
6 SCVs already. Hero drone coming in to do its
thing
work as well.
Yeah. And I mean, like behind this, like Yaku still doesn't really know that this is a Bane burst. Like, yes, he's seen Lings, but like he hasn't seen an overwhelming amount of Lings, which are coming across the map now, and there's not going to be a wall at all. And I mean, he's going to get another bunker up, but that's also probably not going to go down. And he's not even getting slim at this point. He hasn't even started Marine production again. Baneling's not going to morph. I think that's a lot of Banelings once again. And even if the Marines are split, those Banes are still going to get really good connections. I think this is looking quite rough for Yaka. He is moving workers though. I don't think that was because he knows what's going on. I think that was just because to resaturate properly at the main. And Lings are going to come. Well, they actually do move. They're going to take down the bunker. Bunker goes down, there's just no Marines left, and I think good target should be able to cover with follow-up Lings as well, and it's still a good number of SCVs that could go down. You know, he's got quite a good work count, but at the same time, good target's going to drone up behind this, and it's 33 workers to 19 at this point. Yaku's probably not going to be able to mine from that main very soon, and this is definitely looking very good for good target. I think she might morph a few more Banes. Yeah, she's going to morph Banes, try and bust again. If this doesn't work, then it shouldn't be too bad. Willemind's going to come out. I do like that choice. Yeah, if it catches maybe a few Banelings, a few Lings, it definitely can help with this defense.
Hopefully she sends a Ling forward to trigger that in, but actually doesn't. Then
yeah, all the Banes but one. Yeah, and I think now she definitely does have to go home. But behind it, she's looking very good economically. 44 drones to 19. Lei is on the way. Sim is finishing up at the same time. There's not too many medevacs out, so dropping isn't going to be that successful. I think a good target does need to be careful of over-droning, because you know, with those drops, if there's not enough units, could definitely still do a lot of damage. But I think with the Lei, probably going to see Hydra Den very soon, and the fact that she got up to quite a good drone count, probably going to start to make a lot more units. And even has a few Lings that might be able to spot the one drop. Actually, no, it's going to go all the way around, so it should be able to avoid it. But still no units yet back at home for good target. Still making overs. There's going to be that spice. We're going to go into mute attack. I think when she spots this drop, she's probably going to send, make a few more units. Actually, as I say, that drones.
It flew over. I don't see any signs of a reaction yet, though.
And it's like she just made so many drones.
Okay, so probably gonna lose a couple drones at least
Yeah, can afford to. Like, as long as she doesn't lose the space, it shouldn't be too bad. Because, you know, Yaku doesn't really have a strong work count. But definitely does need to make units. Can't just like, depend on those mutas doing a lot. Like, if she waits to the mutas, then she will start to take a lot of damage. Yeah, they are going to be those links. So that should be able to clean up the drop. And all things considered, you know, Yaku hasn't done your devastating damage just yet. It's still quite a big work count. Third base might go down if these links aren't there in time, but I think with these extra ones popping should be able to. Actually, no, the links around, but never mind. And the base will go down. But at the same time, a lot of mutas could be made, like able to make, you know, upwards of 10. And with just there is quite a few Marines at home, but if those Marines are out on the map, then you know these mutas can still get quite a lot of damage done just because of how versatile and fast they are. I mean,
And there are no missile turrets down. I don't even see a engineering bay, so
yeah,
the mutas at the very least will keep the army pinned.
Yeah,
provided everything is used optimally.
Yeah, I think Yaku's going to eventually see these mutas, and once he sees them, he realizes, okay, he can't really be on the map. He's going to move out, you know, into the main base with one drop, going to move in towards the third base with another drop. Once the drop isn't spotted by good target just yet, the Marines are firing, she's going to pull back. I think this is a better choice for her. Or at the moment, all she does need to, and even actually burrows those drones. Oh, ooh, that's cheeky.
It's time to hide.
Yeah, I mean the drop in the main's gonna get cleaned up. Drop in the third should be able to get the cancel. And I think now Yaku has spotted these mulas, so he's probably gonna be starting in eBay very soon. If it hasn't started, I don't see it. Army maybe as well to get thoughts up. I think Yaku definitely has done a good amount of damage, equalized the worker count pretty well, and now with mules and the fact that it's 2 base versus 2 base, definitely looking a lot better. But at the same time, if he loses these drops, then it could be pretty bad. That's a lot of his army supply left there.
Yeah, I think Good Target still has a slight tech advantage, I suppose.
Yeah,
but
the medevacs are going to go out without boost. This is not good. And like, there are siege tanks in position, so these links can't really go in. These mules can go and pick off a few workers here and there, maybe a few Marines, but now Yaku's going to be pinned back in his base. Good Target should be able to drone up behind this. And now with Good Target seeing that most of the Terran armies in the natural, we probably can go into the main base, get damage. The turret is coming down in the main, but at the same time with this many mutas, you can just easily barrel that down. Yaku's going to move out on the map. This is definitely an interesting move out, but at the same time, Good Target, I think, just has too many mutas at this point against the Marine count. Like, there's just not that many medevacs. It's just making more and more and more mutas. So that these Marines won't be able to contend with only 1-1. He's getting a Thor out, but at the same time, like, that Thor's still going to take a while. I think he's still going to move out on the map, seeing that the mutas are there, but I think Good Target's going to be able to see the fact that there's a move out from the Terran. Might go back home. I think that's all she needs right now is to defend, because Yaku is committing a lot to this. Especially if you can pick off those tanks, then you'd definitely be in a very good position. Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of Marines left.
Yeah. I think actually you should probably just go straight for those Marines, because the mutas can fight the Marines. Like, she's waiting for the banings, but those mutas can just straight up fight. Yeah, with the reinforcements, definitely should be able to clean up. Once again, barrows the drones, so it doesn't take too many losses there. Yaku is rallying across. Bit of an interesting choice, especially now with these Marines going to be caught up by the mutas, medevacs as well. And it's definitely starting to be really good trades for Good Target.
There is one Thor out, but the muta count is really high.
Yeah, and as long as those mutas aren't clumped up like they are, the Thor shouldn't be able to do too much. And
Magic box.
yeah, that thing. I mean, 1-1 is finishing up for the Terran, but at the same time, there's not that many Marines to deal with. And I think he's going to go straight on top of that Thor. Once that's taken out, there's not really much left to deal with the mutas. 1-1 does finish, but with that few Marines, no medevacs. Wouldn't mind for good measure, but I think it's going to require a miracle with a mine shot. Does get a few, but not good enough.
And just making more mutas.
I mean, Yaku has been able to catch up in the work account. I think that's just because Good Target's been so heavy on those units at this point. But you could probably just straight up kill the Terran very soon with this many mutas. And it's starting to drone up now that we'll be able to secure that work elite soon. Yaku's going to move out on the map again. Definitely a questionable decision after you've lost this much, but I think he feels that he's so far behind that he has to try and do something. I think the Terran army's going to should walk straight into these couple mutas. So Good Target should be able to spot that and pick it off. Definitely has been very careful with how she engages. At times could probably take the engagement, but doesn't.
I mean, she's had some sort of advantage throughout the entirety of the game, it seems.
Yeah, and I think that those mutas have really put Yaku in a bad position. While he is equal on that work account, he's not really mining that effectively as compared to how Good Target is. But he's going to move out with this drop. Should be able to get a few drones, maybe see that burrow again. I think that's helped a lot, is definitely that burrow saved quite a few workers. The things are going to come in one by one, will get picked off, but with these mutas coming in, they'll be able to clean up the Marines. Bane's actually just rolling in, crashing into everything and killing it. She's definitely being very cautious. I think could have maybe done a lot more with the units and the advantage she has. And I think at this point, Joe, with Yaku still on 2 bases, probably should stop making workers, considering how oversaturated he is.
He broke his key.
Yeah.
it is stuck.
I mean, to be fair, he has been taught by Volt, and what's one thing that Volt never stops doing? Dropping and making workers, and that's almost what Yaku's been doing in this game. It's just like watching that prodigy of Volt. It's like, workers, drops. Okay. But I think he's definitely starting to take quite a lot of losses when these drops move out. Mutas are, I think, hunting for this drop. Overlord spotted it and probably going to catch this out. The upgrades aren't really looking good for Good Target, so like in a straight up fight, the Lings and Banes won't do too well, but these mutas really will.
Even getting that Baneling connection.
Yeah, and like the 3rd base is landed for Yaku, but he's going to have to defend that very shortly. I think Good Target's going to move towards that, having spotted that base, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, it doesn't even see the SCV's mine, so probably not sure that base is there yet.
She had a Ling there earlier.
I didn't see that.
So she should know.
Yeah, and it looks like she's preparing to barrel down this base. And I mean, there's a good number of tanks, but at the same time, there's not really an answer to these mutas. There's an almost double amount of mutas as Marines, and that's never a position you want to be in as a turn. Actually, I'm wrong. There's 26 Marines. I'm blind. I mean, 2 Thors are out. Like that can definitely deal with a lot of mutas. But if the Lings get us around, as well as those Banes, and get rid of them very quickly, then it might not really look that good. And Yaku is supply blocked at this point, and losing those depots is going to hurt. I mean, the tanks do siege up, so I think Yaku, he obviously sees the army of the Zerg player. Good Target does need to be very careful with his Banes, doesn't want to send them crashing in when there's those siege tanks. Does burrow those Banes, interesting position. Shouldn't be able to get too much with that positioning though.
I feel like it should have been north a little bit more. Would have been able to zone out a little bit better, but I think she's trying to bait the Terran into...
No. No. That was... I mean, these mutas are dying though quite fast. But at the same
there are still 3 Thors there.
Yeah, but look at the production tab. There's actually just more mutas on the way. It's like losing that Thor is really bad. Like if he loses another one, then it's just going to be limits. Marines do have really good upgrades with 1-2, so can fight pretty well against the Zerg. I think that's one thing Good Target has forgotten in this game is those upgrades. If she had those, I think this game would have been able to end a lot quicker.
Yeah, I think missing those upgrades could actually come back to bite her really badly.
Yeah, because I mean the Banes I think at this point don't even really do that much damage to those Marines. Oh, the mutas though, they clumped up, they're taking... Oh, that Withermine hit. I think Yaku, he's weathered the storm. Now with this upgrades, he actually might be able to take this. And with pretty good splits, most of the Marines survive. And with the Thor as well, he actually may be able to clean up.
Yeah, he's finally turned the tide with that upgrade advantage, this move out, and this fourth will fall.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Terran just streaming across the map at this point. Army supply 73 to 48, and you know, this is the first time that Yaku has really taken a good advantage in that regard. I think she's going to go in for one last defense, but those Withermines getting so much value. That's going to be the GG. Wow. That was an interesting game, to say the least.
Yeah, there were definitely points that advantage went to either player, but it felt like something of a small comeback from Yaku.
Yeah, for sure. Oh. That was definitely, for a long time in that game, I thought he was dead, but he just held on and just took the game.
I knew you were gonna put that. I was just waiting for it. I was like, where's the unpronounceable? Where's the unpronounceable?
Ja, backpfeifen gezicht. Or as Steel Mold likes to call it, it's red backpfeifen gezicht. I don't know why. He just decides that. I didn't see the map that we're going into. I assume acid plant, just because
Yes, it is.
it's like, wait, no, why won't you let me join Blizzard? Hello? I hate that. It's like, entering lobbies. No, you're not allowed to enter a lobby. Don't know why, it just happens. There we go.
Okay, you good?
Yes, I'm good.
Alrighty. I will be right back.
So we're going to go into acid plant for game number 5. Yes, I can count, it's 5. Very standard map. I think something very similar to Lost and Found, just with different like tile set and also different base positioning, but otherwise very similar. Going to be a PVT. Let me see if Yaku can pull out again, because I think sometimes, even if you have the lead as a platinum player against a diamond player, you can sometimes lose that lead. And yeah, as we saw, what happened with a good target in the game, she just didn't really get the upgrades, didn't take her advantages as well as she could have. But yeah, it's going to be 2-2, and spawning in the bottom right, in the green, playing Protoss, representing Psionic Aftermath. He is John Goodman.
Is it my play? Yeah.
And in the top left, in the purple, representing CrnKy Ducklings, playing Terran, he is Yakuzaku. Yeah, going for this gas first into the CC. Gonna see, yeah, it's not really. I mean, not CC racks. I meant. Why did I say CC?
I knew what you meant.
Yeah. I think it's definitely the safer option in PvT or TVP, just because you can get the factory out a lot sooner as well as starport. Protects against like anything for like void rays or proxy robo, but at the same time, you know, it prevents the stim being as early as it could be. And I prefer the 2-1-1. I mean, I always have in every matchup except TVT because it doesn't really work in the matchup. We're actually going to see John Goodman go for the Gateway Cyber Core, and then with the Zealots with the Stalker follow-up, I believe it is. Yeah, and then it's his Nexus. Yeah.
It's actually strange. He took his second gas, whereas traditionally you don't take that until after you expand.
Yeah, but the probe actually kills an SCV, so that's interesting. But so maybe he's looking to go for proxy after this, say like Stargate or anything like that.
Very possibly.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
The Reaper's going to catch the probe though, so any dreams of a proxy for now is gone.
Yeah, I think losing the probe, he said, "Oh, okay, never mind that then."
Yeah.
And he threw down his Nexus right after.
Yeah, the Zealot, I think, should be able to at least force this SCV away, maybe kill it, because there isn't any Marines as of yet to defend or anything else. The SCV goes down, probably get damage done on this CC. I think he's probably going to look to see if he can maybe get the reactor as well, or this SCV building the supply depot. I think with the Sorka coming across, he might be able to do a bit more. He's going to add on the Stargate and Gateway at home. Which actually, the depot is going to be lifted and the Zealot is getting... Zealot is trapped now. But at the same time, it still can get damage done on these Marines. And it's going to kill one of them, maybe the second one. And this has been quite a rough start for Yaku. He's taken a good number of SCV losses. He's lost a few Marines. Probably going to lose even more. Trying to get the bunker up. Another SCV, couple SCVs going to go down. Zealot's going to get rid of another Marine, maybe another. I think with the Cyclone coming out, he should be able to clean this up eventually. But definitely taking a lot more damage than he wanted to. Especially considering that the CC is just so delayed.
This is a really irritating start for Yaku. He's down to 11 workers. He has less workers than he started the game with.
Yeah, and losing that supply impact, it doesn't make too big of a difference because he did lose a lot of SCV, so he's not supply blocked. But at the same time, he definitely replacing that is a pain. I think
I think he feels like he doesn't know what's coming, so he just like instinctively rebuilds his wall, even though the damage is done. John is back at home macroing.
Yeah, and with an Oracle coming across the map, could be like a good enough amount of Marines, but he still could be able to do some damage with that. And he's even making a Void Ray, which I think it's as a defense here in case an attack comes.
Kind of unfortunate pathing of this Oracle kind of showed itself first, and then the Marines were able to intercept it as a result. But all in all, like, the supply is so much in his favor.
Yeah, and I think it's even more of an advantage for him in this game than it was for Good Target, and I think in TVP it's a lot harder to come back from behind as opposed to TVZ, especially against like a Mio Link style, because that's a lot more dependent on harass more than engage, whereas Terran, it's a lot harder to engage into a Protoss player than it is against a Zerg, especially in the earlier stages. And with no Sim, like, there's not really going to be like a drops that can do a lot of damage. I think he's actually going to lose the CC. He's going to lift it. But I mean, his Stalkers and the Void are getting so much damage done. If he loses the CC, then this is looking really bad now for Yak. He's going to lose a Mule and another SCV. He's going to be supply blocked at this point. And this may just force him to go for an attack. Now, Chunk Goodman's getting a third base at home while Yaku's stuck on one.
Yeah, from here, all John needs to do is defend. Like, he's getting those gateways transformed. He has a Robo and even a Dark Shrine for good measure.
Definitely an interesting choice to go for Dark Shrine.
Yeah, I know he likes it in PvP, but this is not the matchup I would anticipate it. Like, it's not bad in this matchup, it's just not expected.
Yeah. And also at the same time, as a Terran player, when you've taken this much losses, do you really want to be investing into turrets, a scan? So even if it's one or two DTs, like, if it doesn't get SCV damage, still where it forces out maybe just too much for Yaku. A drop is going around the outskirts.
I like this Void Ray.
Yeah, this is...
Oh,
nope.
Where is it going?
Oh no,
okay, it's just on patrol.
Yeah, I was just like, no, don't F to it. But actually, I think it's gonna miss the medevac. Maybe.
Yeah, that patrol path is a little bit large for Void Ray speed.
Oh yeah, he's actually gonna miss it. But I mean, he does have charge finishing up, and with a good number of gateways, if he doesn't warp in like right now, he should be fine.
Man. That drop slips right by the Void Ray.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna go down now. Well, he will be able to get away, but with set charge lots against Unster Marines, that's another fight the Marines want to take, and especially
This
also with
drop
that
can't get
DT.
out.
Yeah, and I don't. He should have seen the DT shrine. No eBay coming down. I think at this point you probably need to make a Raven, just for that mobile detection a lot better. And he's gonna scan now, but at the same time, like this DT is not even gonna go down, so it's a wasted scan.
Oh, this is painful for Yakuzaku.
Yeah, and he's going to drop a tech lab on the stop. I think he should have just switched it with the tech lab because it's just going to take that a little bit longer. If the DTs don't go across the map, then he might have a Raven out in time. But that Raven also has a lot of gas. I think, and actually, he's just going to morph them into Archons. Probably a better choice, just because there's possibility of that detection being out, and then the DTs are a lot less effective, especially when there's something like siege tanks out. And still no stim for this bio.
There's a missile turret down, or actually two.
3 actually.
3, in fact.
Yeah, that is quite a big investment, especially considering he's getting a Raven as well. Like, if he wasn't behind in this game, I wouldn't mind those 3 turrets, but the fact that he's still stuck on one base, I think Jungle can't really push in here, because there are 2 tanks now. Maybe if he can pick off one of them with the Void Ray, he should be fine. But definitely needs to be very careful of not taking 2 turrets.
He doesn't need to take this fight.
Yeah, I mean he's going to lose the Void Ray. He loses high ground vision. So not a very good trade, especially he should be waiting for that 1-1. Maybe get a War Prism as well, just so he can reinforce a lot easier. Like he just needs to make sure he defends at this point, because the only thing that can really hurt him is if he takes really bad trades or if he loses majority of his workers.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's at the stage where he's
No, the Raven.
comfortable.
Oh, he lost the Raven and the Viking. That's really bad. And like moving on the map really is like bad with the Protoss army sitting right there. Like he's not going to be sieged up in time. There's no stim. There's no medevac. So these tanks are going to go down immediately. And with just the number of stalkers there are, mortals as well, tanks going to go down again. I think we're starting to see the end of Yakuzaku. And even that 1 DT with no weight of dealing with it's going to still do a lot of damage, even with detection up. I mean, yeah, another tank does come up, but that's going to go down almost immediately. Going to see the GG coming out, and John Goodman puts PsiX on match point. That was rough for Yaku. I think everything that could have gone wrong just went wrong for him in that series. Oh, that game, I should say, not necessarily the series.
Alright, looks like Redshift will be our next map.
Interesting choice, for sure. Not a map you necessarily see, but at the same time, I actually can say who the player is. I think it is going to be Light. The fact that he requested US West just tells me that it's Light, because I know he's also in Australia. So US West is probably the best. Yeah. So Redshift, I think compared to 16-bit's definitely the better choice, because 16-bit's more of a Protoss favored map, I think, with how big it is. And the fact that you can easily get up to something like carriers, and knowing Light's playstyle is definitely more aggressive, so probably wants to make sure that he ends that game as soon as possible.
Alrighty. What is going on here?
I don't know. It still says entering lobby for me. Oh yeah, there it didn't work. I'll just try join off you, see if that works.
Okay. Blizzard is so funny sometimes.
Yeah, it's very special. Small indie company and all.
Maybe John Goodman got rid of John.
Maybe. He's like, I'm the only good John here. You have to go. Okay.
There can be only one. Don't remember if, like, I know he knows about the probe glitch on this map, but I don't know if he is capable of it, and this is not really the matchup that the probe glitch helps you that much.
Yeah, I feel like going for it is very risky in like this kind of setting.
Okay.
Well, okay, if you're not you. I probably should have specified that. Because not many of the pros are that crazy. I was just like, you're crazy enough to try that, that's for sure.
Well, I'm comfortable now that it's at, like, 90% success rate, so...
Yeah, that's true. I guess if you've practiced it enough, then it's fine.
Yeah. Anyway, shall we introduce the players?
We shall, and spawning in the top left, in the green, going for the pull first, playing for CrnKy. He is light VIP.
And in the bottom left, as the blue Protoss representing PsiX, it is John Goodman. Oh, that's right. He does this drone scout. I was like suspicious at first that he was going to use it to take the gold, and then I realized it didn't turn where it should have in order to do so. And yeah.
Yeah, this is an interesting choice from John Goodman to go for the gas.
Yeah.
I think he might be a little scared of aggression, considering that it's going to be that pull first. But I think with that zealot, he should be fine with the ore. And maybe also seeing that drone scared him a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure what exactly, like, where he's meaning to go with this opening. Maybe he gets to Adepts and harasses?
Maybe. And behind the light is getting his third base. This is something he does most games where he goes pull first and then just goes straight into that third base, knowing that he's not really looking to get too much damage done, but just a little bit of harass and be very safe.
This is feeling a lot like a one-base cheese, actually.
Yeah. Like, especially with a sentry coming out as well.
I just don't know what we're about to see, because, like, I guess he could take the gold from here, but, like, how do you defend that against Roach Ravager?
It's very rough. Like, he's put himself in a position where he almost has to take this gold base, just based on his opening. It's definitely weird.
Okay, at least he gets the Stargate. The Stargate will kind of ignore the terrain features. and with a shield battery and some Stargate units, that can go all right.
Yeah. The first step's gonna go across, but see what you can see. Spotting that third base is very important, because if you know it's there, then I mean, it's very unlikely that there's going to be a lot of aggression, especially considering that on the map and the way he's gone for the wall off. The only possible aggression is roaches, and we're not even seeing a roach one at this stage. I think yeah, he's going to let the shade finish. Maybe we'll get a couple drones. With no links back at home, he probably will be able to get this adept out of there as long as he shades it pretty soon. But at the same time, he is getting a couple drones. Well, actually, very good saves on. Yeah, like those. This could be looking at 5 drones down, and losing 3 drones for a couple of adepts. I think it's definitely a trade you'll take, especially considering that John Goodman's Nexus is slightly later than what we normally see. There is the roach warren though, so he might be looking to go for a couple of roaches, and even with a couple of roaches, he still can punish that if there's no something like Oracle Energy or like a Phoenix. But the couple of depths are going to come in. Oracle towards the main base as well. Spore Crawler and Queen should be up in time for that. But at the same time, like these adepts are going to probably get taken out. The first one does fall. With probably going to take out a couple of links with it, but at the same time, definitely not the best trades.
And now that he sees the Roach Warren, I'd like to see him drop like a pair of shield batteries and start a Void Ray. Like the primary objective now is to defend his 2 fronts so he can attack.
Yeah. And I think he's going to look to take a third base shortly, just, he's sending the Adepts, Sentry and Zealots on the low ground. I think you wouldn't necessarily do that if you weren't looking to take a Nexus, unless he's going to move out. Phoenix is clearing up a couple Overlords, so that should definitely help. I think we're seeing Void Ray finish up very soon, Robo as well, so you'll be able to get Immortals just to defend against the roaches. And it's the third base. So this is looking more of a standard game. Like, I think Light made that Roach Warren more of a defensive play than anything. Like, I think when he saw the fact that there was 2 gates before that Nexus, he was just a little scared of maybe an adept attack or anything like that.
Sure. Oh, it looks like the game has really normalized.
Pretty even work accounts and I think Light will be able to take a bit of a lead, but with the third base finishing very soon, John Goodman should be able to catch up pretty quickly.
Something that I think is a little funny is this Overlord from Light has just been sitting here the whole time.
I don't think John Goodman has a view of that.
He doesn't, but his Oracle flew past it already.
I think the Phoenix did as well.
Oh, okay.
My game's frozen.
Oh. No! Oh, okay.
There we go.
You're back, I think.
Yeah, I'm back. And the game just froze, and then as soon as it came back, it's shows attempting to reconnect. Like, couldn't you have at least showed me that so then I know what's happening? Just something. A few roaches are going to move out towards the gold. Oracle's actually going to move past, so it's not even going to spot it, but the Void Ray is pretty close, so that should be able to deal with it pretty quickly. And I also like this pylon positioning that he can warp in a few units just to deal with the units on the other side. Going to start to lose a few probes. Void Ray hasn't moved in yet, but he's going to warp in a few Zealots, which should help, just to deflect it. Void Ray is still standing around though, just chilling. Not really worried of what's going on. And then it's going to come in. Yeah, it's definitely, I think, a dangerous move out. He doesn't want to keep chasing because he doesn't know exactly what Light is on. Then again, he does have the Revelation. So he's seen the fact that Light is moving across the map. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see him drop shield batteries pretty soon. As well as he's getting Storm, as well as the Hard Templars. Charge isn't done yet, but this part of the pros, yeah, he needs to move that army together at this point and turn these High Templar into Archons, because if those get picked up before they morph, definitely can be a rough position. Like, just by themselves, and yeah, don't get picked off actually before they morph into Archons. But at the same time, like, he needed those Archons a lot earlier, and like this is a massive Roach force that I don't think a single Void Ray can get rid of it in time.
Biles are going to go down and
Yeah,
clean up that Void Ray.
yeah, that Void Ray was his only hope, and I think at this point it's looking pretty bad. Like, he's gonna sacrifice the third base, but at the same time, like, if he loses that, that's done enough damage that he could even go home. I think he just wants more and more. Gonna pick up even more High Templars, so that's a lot of...
He could shut down Storm.
Yes, yeah. Ooh. If he shuts down Storm, I think, any follow-up attack could just really kill the Protoss. Storm is getting pretty close to finishing, though. I think he needs to target down that pylon, but there's going to be... I think a GG? I didn't realize. It's going to be GG. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Like, oh wait, my Void Ray's dead. Welp. That's game. That's game over then.
That was an interesting ending. That realization.
Like, took a while for that to be realized. It's gonna be 16-bit for the last map.
Yep.
Definitely an interesting map to end it on. Should favor macro, but we might see something very cheeky coming out from either player.
You still there, Terran Lord?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I was just updating the
Okay.
casting tool. Yeah, to make sure that was going.
All right. Looks like everyone's ready to go, so we will get started on our last game of this series. All good things must come to an end.
Yeah, definitely been a good series. Yeah. And like, in the end, regardless of who wins this, like, I'm not going to be too upset because it is the Ducks, but at the same time I do want to get that win over them, especially considering that we lost the clan war to them earlier in the year. Yeah, let's get into intros for the last game of tonight, and spawning in the bottom left in the orange representing Psionic Aftermath, he is Mr. Everly.
And in the opposing corner, as the greens are representing CrnKy Ducklings, it is Light VIP.
The captain himself. He knows his way around the bush, and being Australian, I think that applies to him a lot more. Yeah.
You're just looking for every possible way you can harp on your friends.
Yes, pretty much. They do it to me, so it's mutual. And like the thing is, I don't cast them much. I mean, I do cast the SEOs sometimes. Haven't casted for a while, so being able to cast them and then just give it little digs here and there is nice. Yeah, Probe is going to come and see that. It's going to be the pull first. Mr. Everly's this time, he's going very standard, not going for that Cybercore first and the second gas, but his gas was stolen though. So yeah, that happened.
No, hold position probe.
Yeah,
Bit unfortunate.
but just a little bit.
Oh well, he can take his gases at his natural if it comes to that.
Yeah, and I think with these probes he'll be able to get that gas done pretty soon. It's like he is losing a bit of mineral mining, but it's not like too bad. At the same time, with these links coming across the map, if he doesn't have a wall off, he could be in trouble. He's not getting that zealot, but I think he has that probe there just in case. He's gonna get the zealot now, so he should be fine for that.
Yeah, I think it occurred to him, hey, that pool was kind of fast. I should probably chrono the zealot out.
It's like this zealot's gonna come out like almost perfectly in time. Wait, no.
We're both kind of paranoid about that.
It's like, no, don't do it. Don't be a traitor. Yeah, Light was like, wait, are you baiting me in? It's like he just like wanted to make sure he knew. It's like, I don't think I'm going to go in there. This seems a bit wrong. It's going to be Twilight Council from Mr. Everly, so probably looking maybe DTs or something like that into the Archon drop. It's definitely very possible, I think.
I'd like the Stalker to come up and shut down this.
Yeah.
Because, like, if he doesn't see any tech, then he's just going to infer Stargate. And this Twilight being so early can definitely...
He will see the Robo, though, so he knows it's definitely something. I think it's a little early for the Robo if you're going to go to Stargate, and he's going to see Charge coming. So this just could very well... Yeah, he's pulled off gas as well. So this is going to be the 8-gate charge lot all in. And, with Light getting Spore Codes at home, those aren't going to really help him. He's going to get a Spine Crawler, though, so that definitely helps. As well as the Roach Warren.
Right now, because this is a really strong build, but it's technically been scouted, and this is a really large map, too.
Yeah.
So you don't have the same multi-prong, because you only have one attack path, you don't have the same multi-prong that you normally would. You can still, of course, use your Warp Prism to accomplish that, but we'll see how this plays out, and
But I think Light has pretty good Overlord Spirit, has vision of almost everywhere, so he should be able to see the warp-ins. At the same time, he's still droning up. It's like just a handful of roaches that he has at this point aren't going to be enough, but he's still making roaches. But if he goes back into droning, then this could be a rough position. It's like even if he sees that Warp Prism, he may not necessarily know, that it is going to be a lot of charge lots. He might just infer that it's something like Archons or DTs, which you just need a handful of roaches to defend against.
Yeah, perhaps he's not quite read what he's facing.
Yeah, he's still droning up. I don't know if he even sees this charge low warping. He's gonna get an additional spine crawler, but getting the Evo is definitely not something you want. And with these roaches, spine crawler getting surrounded this already, this is going to be quite a rough defense so far. Roaches are going down, drones as well. Spine crawler is going to be cancelled, and I think with an additional warping, there may be too many charge lots here for Mr. Evident. Light may be forced to tap out.
Yeah, he had all the information he needed, I felt like. It would have been nice to see that there was no gas mining.
Yeah.
But, like, a Twilight that early and a Robo is, like, not many things it could be.
Yeah. I mean,
DT drop, or Archon drop being the other possibility, but,
yeah, I think when you see a Twilight Council, you're almost like you're looking to go for another Overlord. And like that's one thing, like he did, I think no, he didn't get the Overlord speed the last game. That was thinking of Kuro. Kuro did get the Overlord speed, but now, I mean, there's just so many charge lots, and when you're up in supply against roaches as a Protoss player, you're always happy.
yeah, this is too many Zealots, just too many.
And the fact that this Warp Prism is just going to be unchallenged the whole time, like he can just continue to warp in. Like every roach that goes down is a roach that's not really going to be out. And when you're making lings against charge lots, that's I think when you know that you're in trouble. There's going to be the GG. Wow. Charge lot, good unit.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of interesting. He's just kind of said, okay, this is a good build, so we're doing it.
Yeah. I mean, I have seen this build a lot, and it's definitely a build that has torn apart a lot of Zergs. Like even at the highest level, they struggle a lot against this. Like I think once you have a good enough roach count and your very good positioning you can hold, but even then, like, he just didn't have the right amount of roaches in time. And every time he was making roaches, they were caught at different points, the different hatcheries. So he wasn't able to group up those roaches.
Oh, Susie says that he needed. He just had not put it. I don't feel like he had put together what he scouted quite yet.
Yeah, I think he was just okay. This is Archons with the DTs. I just need to make a handful of roaches. It isn't the charge lord. It happens sometimes, like, especially like even at the highest level. We see the players have that information, but they don't actually use it to the best.
They're kind of like anticipating one thing. Maybe they're paranoid about one thing in particular, and maybe they know that their opponent can or is prone to it, which I don't think Light knows very much about Mr. Evely, but you can really tunnel vision because of that.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I think also StarCraft is always about that like mind, like the mind, and if you're preparing yourself for something and not for another thing, it can definitely, and when it catches you off guard, then you just out of that game. Because StarCraft is definitely a lot about being in the right mental state. And like that's the one thing like I always say with holding cheese is the first step to holding it is preparing yourself mentally for it.
Sure.
Yeah. Like I know like when I play against you, obviously I'm always prepared for that cannon rush. I know it's coming. But like even then, it's still. I faced it once, and that one time I faced it, I was like, wait, I might actually lose to this. Am I gonna lose? Because I was like proper panicking, and then cause, like, I just hadn't faced it. Because like normally when I face it's like, oh, it's a failure because like these guys don't really know cannon rush. And it's like I was worried, and they could just eventually stabilize. I was like, breathe that sigh of relief.
That moment as a Terran, you're like, am I dying to a cannon rush?
Yeah. I faced a cannon rush that like a couple of weeks ago that failed. Like I defended it flawlessly, but then the guy just like ticked up straight into Void Rays, and like I was like, I'm going to go for an attack with a couple siege tanks, marines, and a raven. Like, there's two things that can crush me: if he rushes for charge lots, or if he goes Void Rays. And then he went
Nope.
Void Rays, so it's like, yep, that attack's gone. And then he just went into carriers and colossus. Like, how does my bio army beat this? And then eventually, I just threw myself into a brick wall and lost.
Oh
I was
man.
sad. And it was on
That's
stream
rough.
as well, so it was like,
Ooh.
yeah, definitely a game I regret to talk about.
All right. Well, this has been the VTL Week 4 match, I think. This
Yeah.
is Week 4, right?
Yep, it is.
Okay. And, yeah, close series.
I think all our series so far have gone to Game 7. If I
I think
recall.
so, too.
Which is, I mean, it makes a lot of sense when you look at it, but sometimes also you have those Diamond 2s who can take it out as well. I think it's usual to see a 4-3.
Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts before we say our goodbyes?
Just that I'm very happy that we beat the Ducks, pretty much. That's
The
about
Ducks.
it. Yeah, the Ducks.
All right.
Anything from you?
I don't think so. Who? Now I'm spacing on who we play next week. I'll
Good
find
question.
out later, I guess.
Let me see if maybe I can get the Wikipedia page up quickly. Maybe I can. Yes. Except it's not loading though. Wait, no, there it is. So we're going to week 5. Formless bless loss. Actually, okay. That's going to be interesting.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I guess that's all then.
Yeah. And last thing is, everyone, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.